So I work with the 16 runes of the Young Futhark, and of course there are 78 cards in a standard tarot deck. I work with a Rider-Waite tarot deck, so there cannot be a simple transference of which rune is which card. But I was doing a reading for a client the other day, and the similarities between the East rune, if we're using the Old Norse sounds, and the Two of Wands just really hit me, and I wanted to share it with you basically. So this is the East rune here. I connect it to the deity Skave, and the joy of working with the Younger Futhark is we do have the rune poems that we can work with to give us some insight into the meaning. So the translation that I have done for the Skave, the East rune, is ice we call the broad bridge, the blind need to be led. And just picking up on that idea of ice being a broad bridge, I think we can all imagine that. We can all imagine, being perhaps in the depths of Scandinavia in the winter, and the river is iced over, and we now have this bridge that could presumably last for hundreds of miles. Now, what we now need to bring into this conversation is that if we think of the Norns, the three Norns, the Weavers of Fate, if you like, doesn't really fit, but it's a useful analogy. If we think of them as representing the past, the present, and the future, and then a description of that, a visual description that has been used, is a well. So that the past, Ud, is the water in the well. We can drown in the past if we let ourselves. The present moment, Verdandi, is the surface tension on the top of the well. And the as yet unformed future, Skuld, is the water vapours rising up off the well. And when we think about that, when we really think about the present moment in that analogy being the almost impossible to understand as human beings surface tension of the water, then we can see that the East rune can represent procrastination, basically. Coming to the book here right now, and I'll just read it out word for word. On one level, an iced river is a bridge with no defined starting or ending point. The potential to be far wider than a man-made bridge. Potential is a dangerous game. We can get lost in the multiplicities, never actually reaching any destination. There is a link between Verdandi, the power of becoming in the moment, the surface tension on the top of the water, and Skave, the rime that can form on the water, solidifying, thickening, opening up this transient moment. The solidifying of a transient moment, creating a sense of potentials, can be wonderful, but can also lead to procrastination, a confusion of possibilities that holds you trapped in indecision. And I think that is a perfect description of the Two of Wands. A confusion of possibilities that holds you trapped in indecision. If we look at him here, he is clearly behind a parapet. Clearly he's grounded, he's safe. There is a sort of a solidity there. This appears to form a sort of a gate, if you like, but he can't just walk through it. He's behind the wall. The future looks beautiful. If we look at the scene here, I think the vista represents his future or potential future. We have it all. We have the blue mountains of potential. We have water. We have what appears to be either a castle or a church here. We have dwelling house. We have woodland. It appears, if you look really carefully, almost to be like a little road there. The future is full of potential. We could even say he holds the whole world in his hands. Potential is there. And yet he is stood, grounded, behind this wall. Now, painted onto the wall, we have the images of red roses and white lilies. And if you go through the rider deck, you will find the white lilies and red roses as images on quite a few cards. In particular, a really powerful card to look at is the Magician. Very much focused on the Rider-Waite deck here, where the card of the start of something new, the number one card of I'm at the start of a manifesting journey and I have everything I need to do this. The Magician card has red roses and white lilies growing. The Ace of Pentacles, if you look really clearly, there are white lilies growing in the garden and there are red roses in the hedgerow. So the white lilies represent our inner journey, if you like, our spiritual self, and the red roses, the physical action of manifesting. But here they're painted. To me, that's like a blueprint. I have a diagram. I know what it is that I want to do. I'm aware of the full potential, and yet I am stuck behind this wall. And then we really need to look at the wands. Now, wands need to be grounded. That's how all of the elements need something, and wands need to be grounded. But this one is held aloft on the top of the wall, and this one is actually bracketed to the wall. I view the wands usually as energy and enthusiasm. And if we look at the Ten of Wands, we can see that if we hoard too much energy, if we hold on to our enthusiasm, we don't kind of spend it and follow through with it, it becomes overwhelming and exhausting. So to me, the Two of Wands, I often describe this as hope and fear in equal measures. To me it is, I've got a great idea. I really know what I want to do, but I haven't actually quite committed to it yet. And the danger with that is that the longer we take to commit to something we know we want to do, the more excuses we're going to find, the more potential problems we're going to consider, and the scarier and scarier it gets to actually take that first step. I work with a lot of people who will actually say they have quite a few choices in life. And they find having quite a few choices in life hard because they want to choose the best. Maybe it's a career option. Maybe they've got a core skill and they could start a business, or they could get a 9-to-5, or they could move and live somewhere else to follow, a career. I often find that when people have too many choices, and I call this Druid's choice, where all the choices look equally good, they can get really stuck. Because by making a choice, what you're actually doing is you're saying at this point, I'm not going to follow through with those choices. So make no mistakes about it. On the whole, the Two of Wands is an incredibly positive card. We only have to look at that incredible view and the fact that he's well dressed and he's literally holding the earth or the world in his hands. But to me, there is a stuckness there. There is a stillness there. There is a procrastination there. There is I'm not quite sure I'm ready for it yet. And to me, procrastination is not laziness. Procrastination is, I'm not going to do it right now because I think that tomorrow or next week I will be able to do it better. And the problem with that is it becomes very addictive to simply say, I'd love to, but when I get this certificate, when I've completed that project, when I have that amount of money in the bank, then I will be able to do it well. And I can almost guarantee you, but by the time you get to the point that you think you will be ready to do it well, you will have set another goal in the future. So I just kind of felt really drawn to share it because as I was explaining this card, it was a card, I was doing a reading for a client, and I swear to God, I must have done about 10, 12 small mini readings, and in every single reading this card was there. So we really had to pull it out and we really had to sit with what is the message of this card. And I really feel that it is linked to the East rune. And the confusion of possibilities that can hold you trapped in an indecision. They're great possibilities. It's wonderful to have a choice of possibilities, but sometimes it is the choice of possibilities that actually leaves us feeling stuck.